Oh, oh. Do, 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 do. All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to our Ropocalypse weekly. The uh, the Ropocalypse continues. A few years ago, I was going to call the show the Ropocalypse, right? And the idea was that Rufus Opus is Apocalypse, right? And I was like, oh no, that was too pretentious, and I don't want to do all that. It sounds like Apocalypse Now and all that shit. So it is Apocalypse Now and all that shit. So I don't really give a shit anymore. So yeah. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Ropocalypse for the show. So anyway, welcome to the Sunday edition of the show here. So what I want to talk about today is some stuff I started to talk about this morning while we were doing the morning Zeus chant thing that we do in the mornings. And so yesterday I was trying to do some magic to change things around. I didn't like how things were going last week at all, so I thought, we'll do some magic and just change things around because that's just what we do, right? We're magicians. Why not? So I did my magic, and while speaking with the spirits of Saturn, I had a mini revelation, I guess. We came to an understanding of what was going on, and what my role was in all of this stuff, and what my part and my place is to do all this stuff. Specifically, I was asking about why we can't just change fundamentally why things have to be bad. Why do things have to be bad right now? Why does this have to happen? Why can't we just Om Mani Padme Hum our way out of this shit? Why aren't with all the white girls with crystals? Why are we still suffering? Like where's our solution? What can't we just fix it? And I thought I was going to get something like from suffering comes wisdom, right? The Zeus, who was it? The Hesiod. And Hesiod, it talks about Zeus has declared that from suffering comes wisdom, and I've been okay with that, like for a while now. I'm like, okay, so what's our purpose for being here? It's for experiencing our experiences. It's to have a good time, most often as possible. We're doing these initiations. We get initiated. We get into the light. We become the light. We experience it. We manifest the will of Zeus through our hands and hearts and our actions and our activities. And I'm like, this is all great. I think it's very important that we do this stuff. I can't have that open. Holy crap. Sorry, I had technical things. I had my screen open. I could see myself talking, and I was just going to look at that the whole time. Anyway, so so I was expecting it to be something like from suffering comes wisdom, and that's what we're here for, And I feel like I'm here to have a good time personally, and a couple of years ago that was feasible. It was okay to be able to have a good time, and there's no guilt associated with it. I'm talking maybe 10 years ago. Like I didn't feel bad for having a good time until I started realizing, over the last few years, we've gone through a lot of eye-opening experiences. George Floyd in Minneapolis. We had terrible things brought the illusion of everything's cool all the time crashing down on his head, and one thing led to another, and here we are today with a terrible situation, in my opinion. I don't want to get too into all that stuff because it's very frustrating, and I know everybody knows what's going on, and it's not fun. Like I don't know anybody who's enjoying this. I think the people on the right, my family and my mom and sister and them, they can't be having a good time right now. They might pretend to be sometimes, but they're not having fun. They're anxious and they're scared and they're excited about some things, and they're terrified about others. And the anticipation of civil war is palpable from the right and from the left. Right now it's in the air, and it's frustrating to me. And it's like, it's obvious that they want us to go to war. And who's they? Who can benefit from all this? Like, nobody, honestly. The billionaires aren't going to benefit. We're like, oh, those billionaires are going to benefit. They make a lot more money at peace than they do at war. Oh, no, they don't, Rufus. Oh, yes, they do. Okay, and it wasn't the billionaires that wanted to be making the money that were making the money. That's why we have all this crap, like, economically. But that's not even it. You guys, we talk about all the financial stuff that goes on in this physical world as if that's what it is. But if you look at the stars, I don't know astrology very well. Okay, so if you're an astrologer and if I say anything that's total bullshit throughout this particular broadcast, do correct me. All right, I'm not pretending like I know what the fuck I'm talking about here, but from what I can tell, with my limited understanding of the stars, all right, we've had some serious fucking Saturn bullshit going on for a while, for Saturn Mars stuff going on since about 2020. And it's if you look historically at other times in our history where Mars and Saturn were running through this phases of conjunction with all these other signs and planets and stuff that we've been through before, it's always times of upheaval and war and stuff. And when Saturn and Mars are malefically malefic up in the sky, people who are of a resonance with Malefica are drawn to that power. And because Saturn has had such a big negative impact on things lately, it's been conjunct with all the let's see, I've got notes on all this stuff. What was it? All right, so from 2020 to 27, the sky is dominated by a Saturn Pluto, Saturn Mars, and Saturn Neptune scenario. Okay, so the reason things have been going badly is that we have this terrible Saturn thing going on from 2020 to 2027. All right, and we're right at the peak of where we should be, honestly, like according to the stars. This coming together of this attempted authoritarian, autocratic government here in the United States is entirely in keeping with the theme of the whole Saturn, Pluto, Saturn, Mars stuff that's going on. Saturn and Mars are going in and out of conjunction for like the next year or so, and it's just like, it's just how things are right now. And it's not a lot of fun. But February 12th, right? Saturn is going to be leaving Pisces. All right. And when Saturn's in Pisces, a lot of the political cult crap that goes on, like if you look at the left right now, the left is incredibly culty, you guys. I mean, I love liberal principles, and I am very much a liberal. I very much stand up for liberal principles and defend, where we're going with progress. I'm a progressive at my heart. I believe, that we should all be good to everybody all the time, and people who aren't need to be controlled, and taught and educated out of it. I think that's how we're gonna succeed as a species, is by learning to get along with each other. And I think that liberal policies and liberal stuff is the way to go, because it frees you to do whatever you want. I mean, within limits, as long as you're not hurting anybody. That's basically, I think, what we should all be able to do. And we shouldn't have to have laws to do that, but we have to right now because we're incompetent, to control ourselves. And if you don't believe me, look at what's happening with the president. I mean, he's got goon squads in the streets. We have amendments on the Constitution that say you can't have goon squads on the streets. You can't have militaristic operations against your own citizens, and the principle is being violated. The letter of the law might not be. I don't give a shit. The president is using armed forces against the citizens. That's what the Constitution was designed to keep them from doing. and he's doing it, and he's getting away with it, and it frustrates the fuck out of me. All right, but the reason that this is happening is because the mob religiosity over this stupid crap that's coming out of the right, that MAGA cult thing that we all know is a cult. The reason the left is so about everything and wanting to throw bricks every chance we get, the reason we're all like that, and we're all very much in our echo chambers and exchanging our memes and laughing at our in jokes and making fun of the same things, we're as culty as they are because Saturn's in Pisces right now. Okay, and that's just where it is, and everybody's going to be into this cult politic bullshit. Like, how many of us 10 years ago posted as much political crap as we do these days? I didn't. I posted about magic. It was great. Of course I was drinking a lot back then, but the thing is we've gotten a lot more into politics. We've gotten more into this ideological divide where both sides of us are into it. We're passionate about it, we believe in our side. And we care so much about it, and in times past in America, when we had things going differently, we didn't give a crap. We weren't at each other's throats. We weren't ideological combatants about everything, We had space, and we didn't talk about politics and religion. Those are like the things that we used to joke about in the office. You don't talk about politics and religion. Now everybody talks about it, and it's tearing us apart, because we care so much. We care so much because Saturn's in Pisces, guys, and it's going to leave February 12th, and it's going to go into Aries. So all that crap, we're all like, oh, about our beliefs, we're going to stop that, all right? And we're going to go into Aries, and it's going to change some things. So let's see, what does that mean? All right, so Saturn leaves Pisces in 2026. That's February 12th. Ends the total confusion and spiritual abuse and cult politics era. All right, and what takes its place is not much better. All right, after this attempt to draw all of this autocratic power into one place, what comes next is the breakup of that. And if you remember what happened after Rome, it was not pretty. Okay, so basically America's going to try to become this imperialistic thing over the next year and a half. They're going to keep doing the shit they've been doing, and it's going to reach a crescendo, and then it's all going to fall apart in 2026, 2027, and then there's going to be a squabbling over the pieces, right? And if you remember what happened when the fascists in Europe fell, there was a squabbling over all that stuff, and for 40 years Berlin was split, right? And like there was nothing. Everybody had a piece of it. Everybody had a part of what was once the German Empire and the German whatever, and that's what's going to end up happening for us. All right, and maybe it's not going to be, maybe it won't be foreign powers controlling us. Maybe it'll be the Cascadians versus the Confederacy or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It could be something like that. But that's what it is. After Rome fell, it was divided up between the generals, and whoever got to keep it got to keep it. And that's what happens. That's the aftermath of imperials, of the imperial phase. But yeah, we got like a year and a half of that. All right, and then from 2027, go back to my notes here. Where is it? Nope, that's about Aphrodite. All right, so yeah, so from 2027 to about 2033, because all right, so this goes out to the outer planets, and I'm not big on the outer planets. All right, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune. These three planets are going through their own crap out in, so Pluto stabilizes in Aquarius in 2026, 2027. That's supposed to bring a shifting of centralized power away from one authority and putting it into the hands of networks, right? So that's when we're in the age of Aquarius more solidly between 2026 and 2027. Okay, so at the same time, Uranus is going into Gemini, and it'll stay there between 2025 and 2033, right? So that accelerates communication revolutions, breaks down propaganda systems, if you have anything in Gemini, you know how it is, right? So I've got Mercury in Gemini, so I totally understand what's going to happen here. This is going to be Uranus being the sky planet. Anyway, it's going to be changing things. It's definitely going to be changing things. But if you look at the communication revolutions and the networked approach to governance that you're going to have with Pluto and Aquarius, if all that stuff were true and it actually works out that way, then you can see that we're probably going to be in a much more collective run organization. And I think this is going to be sort of where the younger millennials and the Gen Z folk start to, like, as the boomers boom their last, I think the Gen Z and the millennials, so I'm talking to my kid in Minneapolis, and he's doing really good. I'm really happy with him, and both my kids are doing good over there. They're taking good care of themselves. So, but yeah, so he sent me a video this morning that just calmed my heart right down. Okay, I wish I could show it to you. I didn't get his permission to, otherwise I would. But after the protest, he and his friends hopped on their signs and sledded down the hill. And they went sledding on their protest signs after protesting ICE, after ICE left and they were done with that particular protest. They all hopped on their sleds and laughing. You can hear them laughing, cheerful and full of life and exuberance at having just stood their ground against tyranny. And in spite of the tyranny, in spite of the darkness, in spite of the death last week of one of their own. This is in Minneapolis. They were at the they were at the scene. They're playing bagpipes and stuff, right? And so, but after that, they slid down the hill because they're having a good time in spite of this dictatorship. All right, and that's what I want to talk about today. All right, the Hermetic path in dark times, and finding what it means to be the light in the darkness, right? So, like, it's hard. It's hard sometimes. All right, so first of all, I wanted to lay the foundation there that what we're going through is temporary and the end is in sight. Okay, it's not it's not going to be forever. We have a hard stop in 2027-ish. For sure, of a lot of this stuff. It's not going to be easier. It's not going to necessarily be better unless we decide to make it better. But it isn't going to be as authoritarian dictatory as it has been. It's going to be more revolutionary and more decentralized stuff. Hopefully, if again, this is all assuming I understand what the fuck I'm talking about with astrology, which is not. It's not a given for sure. Yeah. So I've been talking about how we're the light in the darkness and how we're Luke's contra tenebris. We're the light against the darkness. And this is very much a Hermetic thing. So when I went to Saturn yesterday and I was trying to find a way around it, looking for a loophole, looking for a way to just shift the foundation towards something better, what I got was you don't get to change where Saturn is. You don't get to change where Mars is in the heavens. That's what the forces are. That's what we're doing as Hermetic magicians, is we're getting these initiations so that we can understand how to be the light in spite of what's going on and not succumb to the evil inclination that is coming down from this conjunction between the two malefics that are beating down on everybody and drawing all these authoritarian, strong-arm, right-wing meatheads out of their inbred backwater cabinry, into our main society, where they're all of a sudden going door to door in St. Paul trying to find somebody that's going to answer the door and say, what are you doing? You got a warrant? So they can shoot them in the face, right? That's right now. That's evil people responding from their toxic, corrupt, bullshit hearts to this corrupt signal. Okay, this thing I got up over here about know thyself. Whosoever therefore shall know themselves shall know all things, right? Blah, blah, blah. And how, where is it? How everything in proper proportion draws to themselves as a lodestone draws iron, right? This is what they're doing. They're drawn to this fucking Saturn shit, this Saturn Mars shit, this Saturn in all these terrible places shit, you know. They're drawn to it like a moth is drawn to a fire. It's drawing out our evil people, and our good people are not empowered by this resonance. All right? The dark people are empowered by it. We have to empower ourselves in spite of the motherfucking weather outside. Okay, that's what we have to do. That's why I'm doing these hermetic harmonization things. They're $38. Happen twice a month on a waxing and a waning moon. I hope it's affordable. It's for us to tune up, you know, because we're not going to change where Saturn and Mars are. We're going to change what our reaction to where Saturn and Mars are. We're going to change our understanding of what's going on as we plug into the light and shine our light out. And we're going to change our sphere of influence, okay? Our sun can pull all of the planets and asteroids and everything that circles around it all the way out until it can't. That's what we got, all right? We got everything that we can control that goes around us, that is circling us every time we get out of bed. That's ours until we can't. That's the limit of what we can do, is how far we can reach. Everything in there is what we can influence or control with our magic as initiated Hermetic magicians. That's what we can do. We can tap into these powers, understand what's going on, offer our offerings of smoke and of fire to counterbalance the current forces so that we're clear-minded, clear-headed, focused on manifesting our desires in spite of the weather, in spite of the politics, in spite of Christy Noem, in spite of whoever the fuck. We can continue and keep everything that we can reach safe and protected and unseen if it needs to be unseen. Okay, there's invisibility talismans all over the place in our occult history. All right, if somebody needs to hide from the cops, invisibility is a magical power that we get, and it doesn't make you unrecordable on video. I mean, what it does, somehow the video didn't get recorded, or oh, they recorded over it, or oh, it happened to be pointing the other way, right? It doesn't mean you're invisible. It means you're not seen by the people that you don't want to see you. Okay, and I've done invisibility spells. I got my car totaled because my tags were expired, and I didn't want the cops to see my car, so I like put an invisibility spell over my car. Ha. This lady backs into it at a 7-Eleven parking lot. I'm under a spotlight as parking light and she just backs in and says, "I didn't see you," and she just like, "I'm sorry, I just didn't see you there." It was a big red car. Anyway, invisibility spells, for example. If you study your here, I'm going to pull it up. Key of Solomon, right? If you study your Key of Solomon stuff, this is on Esoteric Archives, by the way. I still can't share the links to Esoteric Archives out on Facebook, but whatever. So anyway, these are the talismans of Mars, right? And from the Key of Solomon. So here's for diseases. All right, so if you're out and about and you end up getting hurt or you get ill, diseases and wounds, this is for afflictions. Spirits of war in general, they are Medimiel, Bartzaki, Eskiel, and Ithuriel. These are the spirits that you can use to de-escalate in the moment if you're facing martial spirits in the world. Right now, this talisman here is supposed to give you authority over martial spirits. All right, so carry that, you guys. Carry that to the protests and take control over those martial spirits. You know, you're the magician. Call on them and say, "Martial spirits, fight for me. Fight for my side. Bring us the victory." Right? Because the Mars spirits are the Mars spirits, and it's a Mars time. It's a Saturn time. You know, you want to take that power on, you take it on yourself. Take it on and let it flow through you the right way. Okay, I'm not ready for that. If I pull down Saturn powers, my inclination is all still fucking this one. That's the only one I give a shit about. Earthquakes and power, to make the whole universe tremble. That's the crap I'm after. If I'm gonna start doing that stuff, that's not any good. That's not any good for me. It's not any good for anybody. And I have and I have it right here. I'm just like, oh, I have the lead already ready already, and I haven't made it because I know it's the same reason I don't buy firearms. You just don't want that because it's not what I want. It's not the life I want. I don't want to be some Saturn fucking magician, right? They have shitty lives. I'm sorry, they do. It's not they're wise, and they're compassionate beyond anybody I know, but it's not a pleasant experience, right? And I don't know anybody who would choose that. And I don't think anybody actually does choose that. I think there's just people who accept it and find harmony with it in spite of it being terrible. And I think that's beautiful. But that ain't for me. All right. I'm a Taurus. Venus is my goddess. That's where I'm at. I'm a lover. I'm not a terrible force of darkness to destroy the world. That ain't me. If you feel called to that, by all means. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm more into Jupiter and Venus and stuff than that. But anyway, back to the Mars Pentacles. The reason I brought them up is because here, exciting war, wrath, discord, and hostility for resisting enemies and striking terror into rebellious spirits. Okay, this is exactly what we're into right now. So the warfare against us, right, is already being excited. This sounds like, oh, well, we don't need that. Well, okay, except that you pray to Mars for peace, right? It's the power to incite these things is also the opposite power. So this is also the power for shutting down war, wrath, discard, hostility, and for bringing peace to enemies. Okay, this is the kind of thing that is known throughout the PGM rituals, throughout the Hermetic teachings of all the planets, and the hymns to Aries, the hymns to Aphrodite, far shooter, right? Not Aphrodite, Artemis, far shooter, right? The request for her to stop the darts of others against her come from her power to throw the darts at others, right? Apollo too, right? It's known that the reverse of these things is equally powerful from this talisman. So don't be, or pentacle, don't be afraid to use things that look like they are opposite of what you want. In magic, anything that starts this stuff can end this stuff. All right, it's just how it works. Ye who are the start button, ye are also the stop button. Okay, it is known. All right, so anyway, there's that one. This one, great virtue and power in war, wherefore without doubt it will give thee victory. This victory talisman, you guys, all right, we need that. We all need to be carrying it right now. It should be like standard issue. We need to have victory on our side, the side that is right and righteous and good and represents the light and overcoming the crazy nut jobs who want to embody the worst parts of Saturn, right? We need this. We need to transform the negative crap we're getting from this propaganda machine that pumps it into our brains 24/7. Oh my God, did you see? Did you see? Oh my God, oh my God. Yeah, we saw. We get it. Why are you doing that to me? Why? Because when you're all crazy, you aren't thinking straight. You aren't able to focus. You're not getting anything done. You're just focusing on the news cycle. Oh, and you're looking at a bunch of ads too. But you're not even shopping. You don't even have time to shop. It's crazy. But as magicians, we transform, right? The great work is lead into gold. Saturn, negativity, into gold, pure wealth, power, bright, shining, right? The shining that we have. This is the light of mine. Collective soul. All right, so earlier Deanna mentioned collective soul, and just for the record, I was just listening to Shine Down or whatever it was the other day. And when I was coming up with a lot of this stuff, I listened to that song too. But anyway, yeah, great power and virtue in time of war. We need that. We need to transform all of this negativity through the great work, the alchemical great work, into something pure and good. All right, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's it, you guys. That's why we study the great work, is so that when bad things happen, we transform it into something good. Okay, and you can't make Saturn and Mars go away, but you can make it expressed in your sphere as far as you can reach in a positive way. Okay, and it takes work and it takes effort and it takes honestly getting outside of your own freaking head. And you know, nothing gets you outside of your head faster than having to take care of someone else. You know, and honestly, you find your purpose, you find your reason when you are helping do the things that you think are important. And it's not your reason forever and your purpose for existing, but it's your reason and your purpose right now instead of worrying. What they get when you're dithering is not someone fighting against them. What they get when you're scared and typing how mad you are on the internet is someone who's typing how mad they are on the internet. Great. You aren't stopping them from doing anything they want. Just making more noise, more distractions, right? You're not fixing your life so that you have supplies in your pantry in case there's a general strike and you need food, right? You're not shoring up your savings account, you know, selling all your crap in your house that you don't use anymore because you need to make sure that you have a little nest egg for when the economy craps out. You know, these are the things that we need to be doing. You got to learn how to can your fucking vegetables. Better learn how to do that. All this trad house bullshit is fucking useful, you know? Download your YouTube videos you want to see again because, you know, they aren't going to be there forever. Everything comes to an end. Everything fades away. That's part of living under the sphere of the moon. And we understand that as magicians. We're not afraid of that. You know, it's not the end of the world when the world ends. That's the big reveal, is that nothing ends. And it's okay. And we get to do it again. And we're going to do it again anyway. So we can just keep doing it, you know? And as magicians, we get to transform these negative things into something positive for ourselves and others. All right. So anyway, this will no doubt give you victory. Okay. It really does. Carry it around in your pocket. Things, you know, people just listen to you. Also, intimidate people. All right. One of the things that, like, a lot of us who are insecure and kind of a little bit grew up being told that we aren't good enough, or that, oh, that's for other people, or haha, not you, you know, all those little things that are in your ear, all that bullshit, right? You're not a little kid anymore. You're a grown up. It's you. It's you. You can be intimidating too. You know, you can practice that everywhere you go. Be intimidating a little bit. Tap into that Mars. People are afraid of people. Everybody's scared right now, you know? And if you intimidate people, they aren't going to fuck with you. They aren't. They're going to be afraid. And all these people who are like armed and dangerous, these ice people, I just saw a video of these ice guys just get up and leave because some old black guy at a fast food place, like, just shoot him out. Shamed him out of the building. You know, because he had intimidation, he had charisma, he had the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Charisma, charis, you know, charis is Greek for the gift, gifts of the Spirit, the mystical gifts that we have. Charismatic Christians, you know, people who have good charisma in D&D, you know, high charisma, they're gifted. They're able to convince people to like them and listen to them and make them do what they want because they're charismatic. They're gifted. They're blessed. You know, these are the gifts of the spheres, of the 7 spheres that we can receive and operate with in our day-to-day lives. We can intimidate people with Mars. We can shine the light of Noga, the light of Venus, to attract people to our ideas, right? We can shine the light of the sun through us onto our subjects that we're talking about in ways that illuminate it and open the eyes of the people that are listening. And it's not going to work every time. You can't illuminate anybody. You can't save anybody else. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. We have to do it for ourselves, you guys. All right. So we have to do it. We have to do it for ourselves, because when we do it for ourselves, we're able to extend it to other people. All right. And it's not selfish. It's just real life. It's just real life. It's how it works. Okay. And this is mind blowing to me as being told when I was a kid, Jesus first, others second, and yourself last, right? That was my mom's motto for me. It was my magical motto from the time I was a kid. Not you, Josh. Everyone else first, Josh. No. What do we say? Jesus first, others second, yourself last. Fuck you. No, you guys, that's not how it works in real life. In real life, we have to take care of ourselves first, because number one, Jesus isn't real. Okay? Other people need to take care of themselves too. It's not healthy to have a 4-year-old boy think that he has to take care of you. There's something wrong with you if you think kids are supposed to take care of you. That's toxic. Maybe someone told you that when you were a kid, and maybe they shouldn't have. But don't do that to your kids, guys. Mom, for fuck's sake. But getting over that, right? It's important, because you can't take care of anybody until you take care of yourself. And I'm not saying that like to be cliche. It's just one of those stupid cliches that are true. And you can't, it's not an excuse to be selfish. None of the stuff that we do when we take care of ourselves is fun. None of it is pleasing to the heart, the mind, or the body. All right? When you work out, your muscles are sore all the time. The only time you're really just high on dopamine all the time is when you're fucking yourself up. You know, you're eating too much. You aren't moving enough. You're watching too much TV, right? If you're blissfully happy, chances are you are destroying yourself mentally, physically, or spiritually. Okay? Because when we're improving, we're often going through hard, difficult things. And what we get out of it isn't dopamine. Right? It's serotonin. You feel good about yourself. It's confidence. It's health. It's vibrance. It's the ability to go up the mountain without being out of breath. You know, I got a friend who lost like 150 pounds or something, more than that now, I think. It's incredible. You know, he's posting pictures of going up hills, you know, and he can do it now. And I understand. I've lost a lot of weight before, and there's a difference, you know, and you have a better life when you're improving yourself. But it's painful, the process. It's not painful. It's just you're a little sore sometimes, you know. And you're aware of the fact that you're getting better, and it hurts a little bit, you know, but it makes you happier, more fulfilled, more able to interact with your life and experience it more richly, more fully, without being all distracted and upset all the time, you know? So tap into the Mars stuff, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's important. Let me go back to my thing here. So anyway, this is about demons. This one, if you're attacked by anyone, you'll be neither injured nor wounded when you fight with them. So this one, back when I first started doing talismans for people, I'm not sharing my stupid screen, you guys, so I'm sorry. Here we go. Yeah, so this is this one, the sixth pinnacle of Mars. Thou shalt neither be injured nor wounded when thou fightest with him. And this, when I first started making talismans, someone who lived on the border, whose son was involved with stuff that he probably wouldn't have been involved with if he could have been involved with something else, needed protection And I got reports that he had been shot at and had been shot and had been miraculously saved in all the weirdest fucking ways. And this is something that really does work for people. It doesn't protect you from bullets and make you bulletproof. It doesn't make it, it's not like that. But somehow the person that was carrying it was protected from some life-threatening things. They got lucky, you know, and everybody isn't going to get lucky if they have this talisman. That was another big lesson I got yesterday. Guys, everyone. I hope I don't offend anybody by calling you all guys, but we're going to lose people. You know, we're going to lose people was something that I didn't like to hear. And we're going to lose parts of ourselves, right? And especially as Zeus the All thing, anytime we lose anyone, we're losing parts of ourselves. And I don't want to say it's okay, because it's not okay. It's not right. It's not fair. It's certainly not just. It's not justice. But it is kind of inevitable. Everybody doesn't get out alive. Everybody doesn't get out alive, right? Everybody's going to die, right? We're all going to die. Memento mori, right? Remember, we're going to die. It's important that we remember that. And other people are going to die too. And it's not fair and it's not right. And it's not okay. But the lesson of Saturn is, and here I don't want to say it because I feel like I don't like it. So I'll just here. This is the when you from the Corpus Hermeticum, when you rise through the 7 spheres after you die. These are what you go through, right? And you release on your way the powers over the toxic sides of existence, right? And you're just releasing them because you don't need them anymore. And when you get, like in Jupiter, you release striving for wealth by evil means. So anything about you that might want to do that, you deprived of its aggrandizement, right? It's not wealth is no longer so important to you that you'll do anything to get it, right? And this is all states that we achieve in life as magicians, in my opinion. If you're following the Hermetic path, you probably are not trying to do anything for money these days. You probably already figured out that you're not here for that. Anyway, but in the 7th zone, you lose ensnaring falsehood. Ensnaring means ensnaring. This is what it means. It's what ties us to this place, and it's a falsehood. Okay, the ensnaring falsehood that we get in Saturn when we are born, when we come into being, before we're even born, when we pass through the sphere of Saturn on our way to the Earth, we are all ensnared in the falsehood of our lives. The end lesson of Saturn is nothing is real, all is permitted. And it's not nihilistic, because underneath all of that is one thing that is united and connected and emerging through all things. The experience of a lifetime is valuable beyond compare to the life, right? But what we learn in the Orphic mysteries is that there is no such thing as death. All of us are recycled. All of it is what it is. And that doesn't feel great. It doesn't make anything better, I don't think. But it is a truth. It is the way things work. And this is something that I've had confirmed in my life. The idea that people die is very much a myth. It's not true the way we think it is. Okay, this idea, and this happened, and I know people think I'm crazy about it. I don't give a shit. My dad passed, and I had an experience with him that while I was going through some Saturn initiations, obviously, that made me understand that death is an illusion, right? And that the ensnaring falsehood, the illusion of life, is part of the illusion of death, and it's not real. You guys, they don't die the way you think they do. Nobody does. None of us do. That's the mystery that is so important from the Zeus cult, from the Dervani manuscript, is that you don't fear death anymore. It's all right to die. It's okay. Not, you don't embrace it. You don't look forward to it. You know, if you guys are looking forward to death, I mean, I'm sorry, your life is so shitty. I mean, sorry. I felt that way before, don't get me wrong, but it's ridiculous, honestly. Your life is beautiful. It's wonderful, and you don't appreciate it because of the chemicals in your brain right now. You know, that's the only thing I can say. And it goes away. That changes. It changes all the time. 9 seconds later, your brain chemicals are going to be completely different, and it's not forever. Just like Saturn and Mars aren't going to be fucking with us forever. You know, when things are bad, you just wait. It gets better again. Um, you know, but yeah. So that was something that I think is important uh, in these dark times, right? And what we're supposed to be doing with our hermetic stuff. You know, um, I think there are days when I want to be a superhero, you know, and I want to go out and I want to save everybody from ice, you know, with my magical superhero powers, fireballs, you know. And there's days I want to enlighten everybody, and I want all the people who are into MAGA to wake up in tears. What have I done? You know, I don't think that's going to happen either, you know. Um, Realistically, as a human being, I want to get through it. I want all my friends to get through it. I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want to see people dying in the street over ideas when we could be having coffee and chocolate croissants. You know, that's delicious. There's no there. It ain't gonna happen though, right? I mean, it is what it is, you know, and it's just accepting that and accepting our place in all of that as the experiencers of our lives, you know. That's what it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to carve out places of light in the darkness for ourselves with our shining lights and for others. And it's going to change the world as far as we can reach, you know. Um, the universe is the universe, and we're not going to change where Saturn and Mars are. We aren't going to change those things, but we can change how we manifest that, how it manifests in our lives. You know, uh, yeah, everything I'm going to be doing for the next year and a half or so is going to be focused on that. Is going to be focused on creating a little bubble of light around myself and everything I do. Everything that I can do to help you guys do the same, I'm going to do that, you know, because that's what I like. I like doing that. So I'm going to do that. And if it helps you, great. And if it doesn't, then by all means do something else. Whatever, I don't care. But the point is, I think, the point is to be the light, you know, find ways to be the light and find ways to use the magic that we have in our favor, right? Because that's what we do, you know. And it's not always about getting rich, and it's not always about feeling great about yourself and having a good time. All right, I hate to say that. Me, who says I'm here to have a good time, and my word of whatever as a magician is joy. It's a different kind of thing. I think I've changed my mind about some stuff, uh, but that's fine. Growing up is growing up. So whatever. Anyway, happy Sunday, you guys. I hope that this was as fun for you guys as it was for me. But yeah, it's all temporary, and there's nothing to be afraid of. I think is what I wanna. I really hope that gets through. Uh, yeah, it's just about being the light, you guys. Um, anyway, take care. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Please feel free to join me for the morning Zeus chant, because that's where we focus on where we come from and getting in touch with that light, and just letting it come through us, tapping into the daily planetary powers, the powers of the daily planetary day. That is, tomorrow's Monday. We'll be doing Gabriel and Selene and the four spirits of the planet. Yeah, the hermetic harmonization. That's to keep people in tune. It's to carve a part, carve a little shining space out of the darkness, and to replenish our reserves, and I hope it's presented in a maintenance kind of way and not as some kind of grubby little way to make money, because it's not what I'm doing. It's more important than that. More important than money. Yes, quite a bit. All right. So anyway, take care, you guys. I will talk to you next week on the regular show, and tomorrow if you join me for the morning mantra chant.